Welcome to the Mindful Educator podcast. This is a place to come if you're seeking calm amongst the chaos, transformation and personal shifts, inspiring conversations, and practical advice to help you build a more balanced and fulfilling life. Come join me, your host, Victoria R. I am a mum, teacher, coach, mindfulness instructor, multi-business owner, and city-turned-country girl, and I'm sharing the lessons I wish I had known sooner. Let's take this journey of personal growth and meaningful change together. All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the Mindful Educator podcast. I've got a lovely guest joining me today, Lyndy. Lyndy Jewell is a psychic medium and an energy healer, and she's very good at what she does. I know because I have worked with her, and so have both my sisters. And you're scarily accurate, Lyndy, in what you say. So, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Victoria. Thanks so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, so I just thought we'd start off if you just want to give us, a little bit of background about who you are and what you actually do as well, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. So, as you said, psychic medium, intuitive healer, oracle card creator. I am the creator of the sweary decks, the fucking honest oracle cards, the get fucking motivated cards, and the crude creatures that have sold worldwide, which blew my mind. But I am absolutely your average menopausal ADHD, mother of two, plowing through the world doing her own thing. I've been doing this for a while. Full time, I've been doing this work for, I think probably 15 years now, but it's one of those things that's a bit weird to get into. It's not exactly a box that you tick on the school careers thing in high school. So,
Yeah.
so
So what
I
made
kind of,
you,
sorry,
yeah.
you go.
No, you go, keep going.
So I didn't fall into it. I always, and I'm sure that a lot of your listeners are going to feel the same, where you go, I just feel a bit different. I just don't quite fit in. I feel things, I hear things, but I don't quite understand what it is. And it's just taken me. It took ages, like decades, for me to actually build the confidence to do this for a job.
Yeah.
And I'm bloody glad I did. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and you're so good at it as well, which I
Oh,
think, yeah,
thank
is a
you.
testament to those skills that you have. So I guess from someone who, looking from the outside in, what were some signs that perhaps things were a little bit different for you, that perhaps you were picking up on things that other people weren't? And like, was this something that you had from childhood, or did it develop as you got older, or how did this all come about?
Yeah, definitely from childhood. It was interesting. I had a situation when I was really little. I remember I was probably about 6 or 8. And I remember hearing a message along the lines of don't follow that example. Like someone was behaving in a way that made me go, oh, that's weird, even at that age, like an adult.
Yeah.
And I just got this very clear message that I don't have to behave the same way as an adult. And I went, oh, and I always held on to that I don't have to follow in, we have these generational things that we just do.
Yes.
I very clearly learned that, no, I can choose my own path and make my own decisions and do that sort of thing. Mind you, I was always scared of everything. I was a really shy, reserved kind of kid. I wasn't scared of anything out there. I was scared of all the fucking people around me and not pissing anyone off and, people
Yeah.
pleaser to the max. But it's been really interesting how there's been so many I look back and see so many signs of how different I was to a lot of other people. But
Mm.
when you're in it, like it's your own shit. You don't know that it's any different. It's your version of normal. So yeah, but things like the big one for me, the really big one that got the ball rolling was I was driving along this road, a really windy road near where I lived, and I got this very clear message to stop the car. And I did. I stopped the car and I avoided what could potentially have been a massive accident. So,
Oh, wow.
and then I went to take off, having avoided that, going, gee, that was lucky. And I got the noise, the sound again, like stop the car, stop. And I was like, no, I already did it. But I stopped anyway. And sure enough, another car would have taken me out as well. So
Oh, wow, Lindy.
that was where I really went, wow, I have to deal with that. But at the time I was 18, I was a brand new driver,
Mm.
and there was no internet then. So when you just suddenly go, right, this is a thing, and I do have to follow it up after years and years and years of going, is this weird? I don't know. There was no internet, so there was no easy way to follow a path. So there was lots and lots and lots of people and mentors and courses and classes that I've done along the way to kind of to work out who I am or how I work.
Yeah. And it's so interesting as well, because I know, like, I've looked into this a little bit and everyone kind of receives the messages in different ways. Like, I know some people can be visual, otherwise, others it's like a voice or whatever it might be. So for you, is it a voice? Is that what you hear? Or how is it?
Well, there's lots of different ways now. So it was
Yeah.
mostly voices back then,
Yeah.
or just knowings. Like, and that's the hardest one when people have
Mm.
because they call the Claire senses, right? Which and there's 8 of them, which of course I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but they're along the lines of, hearing, seeing, just knowing, like
Yeah.
physical feelings, emotional feelings, smell, taste, all those different ones.
Yeah.
And I had a couple, but I again didn't realize that that's what they were, and then as I started understanding them more, I would pick up other ones. So this is really common way for people to do it, I think, where once they start to look into it and start to understand how messages are coming through,
Yeah.
then more and more information comes through in different ways. It kind of
Yeah.
naturally expands itself. So now I get all the ways, but I think in the beginning, anybody out there that's feeling like I might be intuitive, I'm not sure. Let me tell you now, you absolutely fucking are, because you just probably don't know how to interpret it. That's all you need.
Yeah. Okay. Because that's really interesting. Like, I know quite a few people that have children that are definitely displaying some type of
Mm.
maybe something more than the norm. So,
Yeah.
what would you suggest for those parents to perhaps do to help their children or nurture their children if they are kind of, yeah, exhibiting signs that maybe there's a little bit more than just their normal intuition going on
Yeah,
there?
that's a good question, actually. I'm not, it's kind of hard because you are going to be parenting from your own experiences. So
Mm,
if your child is seeing something that you have no ability to connect with, and you haven't done any of this stuff before, then of course you're going to go, "What on about? What's that?" And move on with your day. So it's
yeah.
very difficult to keep your brain in the game and go, "Oh my God, they might be seeing something mystical or magical."
Yeah.
Obviously support and kindness and ask them. But the thing is with kids, you know what they like. You give them a little bit of attention about it, and all of a sudden this thing goes blown way out of proportion. So
Mm,
I think it's just making a space where they can talk about it, where they can ask about it. And I've actually had parents bring their very intuitive children to me so I could talk to them about what they see and help the child directly understand it, obviously with parents in the room, so that there was
yeah.
a kind of broader family understanding of what was going on so it could be encouraged. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've come across some exceptionally talented children in my time. Yeah, there's some really clever kids out there.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, I know a lot of people say it's also because their minds are a lot more open as well as we get
Yeah,
older. Sometimes it seems we close off our minds a bit, but yeah, how
absolutely. Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about for adults that perhaps have been like, oh, maybe there actually is more to kind of what I have been, feeling or hearing
Yeah.
stuff throughout my life?
That one I find much easier, but it's so easy to say and so easy to point people in the right direction with that.
Yeah.
Actually doing it is a whole different story. So please, 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 anyone out there, don't beat yourself up for the fact that you haven't done anything with it yet, and you may not ever. It's totally up to you. But
Yeah.
trust yourself. That word trust is so fucking hard. But I think have
Mm,
have the belief that you could be special. And honestly, I don't. This is not a gift. This is not being special. This is just who you fucking are when you eliminate all the noise. But there's so much noise and there's so much anxiety that rolls through and interrupts the information, the flow, the way that you connect with spirit, whatever the fuck you believe spirit to be,
mm,
that is what trips people up. So I guess approach it with a sense of curiosity rather than needing to know, because we're raised and we're taught to have a question, find an answer. Whereas
yeah.
this is an entirely different ball game where it's sure, have a question, but the answer is going to be delivered in the most bizarre way, or there's a very real understanding that there's not just one fucking answer to anything in life. So, there's this option and that option and this potentiality, or certainly you can see what's coming
Yeah.
as a psychic, but it's entirely up to the person taking the action to do it. So even when you're
Yeah.
starting to learn or you're starting to question what you've got, it still is about action, but it's also about allowing things to happen. And it's a little bit kind of nuanced, I guess, and a little bit tricky to find the balance there.
Yeah, and I suppose I guess it's like anything as well. Like at first you have to make that choice as to whether you're wanting to kind of
Yeah,
pursue it in the first place, don't you?
yeah,
And then I suppose
absolutely.
like any skill, you've got to work at it, don't you, to
Yeah, yeah,
make
you
things
do.
happen.
And I remember, and you can complicate the shit out of it, or you can let it be easy. It's totally up
Yeah.
to you. I used to meditate for ages and, do all these kind of highfalutin things, particularly when I started doing the healings, which I love.
Yeah.
I'd put crystals in the room and I'd, light 20 candles and blah, 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 and do all these really complicated things. And then I worked out that it was not about the fucking crystals on the carpet and on the bed and hanging from the ceiling and all the rest of it. And it was not about the candles that were potentially going to set fire to the room. It was more about me feeling like I had done enough to justify my connection with spirit so I could help the person in front of me. And then it was very clear that I didn't need to do all that bullshit. It was fun, it was nice, it was gorgeous, the ambience was
Yeah.
phenomenal, but also entirely unnecessary.
Yeah. So how do you strengthen then like your connection? How do you, yeah, what do you do daily or what do you do throughout your week to strengthen your connection to spirit? How does that
Yeah,
work
oh,
for you?
probably gratitude. Gratitude absolutely comes down to gratitude. I am grateful every single day to the point that if someone was in my head, they'd go, "Oh, this chick's a wanker. Like she's always saying fucking thank you for everything. What the hell?" But it's really made the world of difference to be grateful because when you can't be, I find personally anyway, it's kind of hard to be grateful and anxious. And the
Mm.
anxiety and the overthinking is the thing that's going to fuck up your link with spirit. So um, when you are feeling grateful, when you are noticing the little signs and signals in nature, particularly, but anything positive that comes across, if you are connecting with that, it's just going to open you up energetically, and it makes it kind of, if you imagine, and again, my interpretation, so everybody run this through your own filter, but my interpretation of it is, if my internal energy is good, then I'm almost like bright and shiny on the inside, right? And if it's really good, I'm going to be glowing, absolutely fucking glowing out beyond my skin. So your angels and guides, whatever the fuck they are, I always see them as light as well, so they're going to be able to see you better. They
Mm.
work really hard to get information to us. So they're going to want to come the easiest path. So if you are nice and bright and vibrant, as vibrant as you can be, it doesn't mean fucking permanently joyful and happy. It just means connected, grounded, feeling secure, feeling, happy to be you kind of thing.
Mm.
Then it's much easier for them to communicate with you. So then the signs and the information, the messages that come through are pretty fucking obvious. You can't miss them.
Yeah, and I think that's like what you said there, that applies whether you're trying to connect with spirits or otherwise. I mean, just having that gratitude is amazing, and people pick up on that energy as well, don't they? So,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's
yeah,
a game changer in all
yeah,
aspects of life. Yeah, you're right.
yeah. Oh, I love that so much. And when you're, I suppose for me as someone who I'm like, oh, I don't know, like I'm
Oh,
kind
I'm a skeptic. I love them.
yeah, but I'm like, is it intuition, is it not? Or is it this, is it not? Like, how does this work? How would you, I mean, obviously there's a lot of skeptics out there, I know. And
Yeah.
I know for me, I know that I've always kind of had that belief that there's definitely something more out there. I do believe that we do have some spirits and guides and all the rest of that around us. How does it work though for people that are maybe like, oh, I'm getting all these things, but is it just my intuition or is it something more? Like, how can you tell the difference between, yeah, just like what's your normal niggles, I suppose, and what's something that's, whoa, like this is
Yeah.
big
This
message
is
that I'm
way
getting.
out of the ordinary. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably a good question too. I guess probably this is what I teach people all the time is that you almost have to you have to learn backwards. That's how I refer to it. So you get a bit of a nudge or a niggle and you think, oh, what's that? What do you mean something important's going to happen on Thursday? And then but that you get that message on Sunday or Monday. And then
Mm,
by the time you come to Thursday, you're going, oh, fuck, that's what that meant. Oh, now it makes sense now.
yeah.
But then you're going, oh, I should have known. I should have. No, 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 no. We need to eliminate those I should haves. You shouldn't
Mm,
have known. You couldn't have known until you start to understand what your interpretation of the energy and the messages is. You cannot know.
yeah.
So if you actually stop in that moment and go, oh, I can see that now, and then let your mind travel back to when you got the message and go, I understand how it all links now, and I know what I've felt, and I can trust it from this point in time, from this present point where I've witnessed the thing and now I understand it. Let your brain, your energy, whatever, go back and go, oh, okay, I can link it. It makes sense. And
Yeah.
then when it happens again, you it's like your ears will prick up and you'll pay better attention next time. So will you know exactly what the outcome's going to be? Probably not. But it gives you, it just strengthens that understanding and that learning and makes a massive difference. The other thing that I probably would say to people too is that keep in mind you are going to pick up on stuff for other people far better and far more quickly. So you will know shit about your kids or your friends or, you know, your friends, your kids' mates or whatever, more than you will know stuff for you, because we are so deeply connected to the outcome of stuff for ourselves. It's very difficult to disconnect from that. And people feel like they're not intuitive because they don't know that they should have worn gumboots on that day instead of thongs or, you know, blah, blah, blah. But your outside perspective of someone else's life is much clearer. It's very difficult to have that outside perspective for yourself. So, yeah, I would probably, if you think you've got something going on, I would probably let yourself focus on other people first and you know, thank the universe, your guides, pardon me, confirmation burp, thank you, whatever you believe in. Thank them when you do message that friend you've been thinking of and she comes back and tells you, oh yeah, I do have news, here it is. You know, when you know, that sort of stuff really needs an expansion before you start looking at stuff for yourself.
Yeah, and I think, because it's almost like, sometimes you just think of people and it's, you know, like you said, you message them and they needed you at that moment, and it's, just those little things that you kind of, I suppose if you're not paying attention, you'll just brush them off, but I suppose we've got to have that awareness about
and
it.
we're busy. We go, oh, I'll call later, and we don't. Or we overthink it. Oh, yeah, but I haven't spoken to her for 3 weeks. What's she going to think if I contact her now? That's just so weird, blah, blah, blah. Fuck it. Just do it anyway.
Yeah. No, very good point. So when you do your readings and your sessions that you have with people, how does it look for you? Like, so I know a common thing that comes up is people are like, oh, they already knew that anyway. So I know that that's one thing that, like if people are kind of like, oh, I'm not sure about this, like, oh, well, they would have been able to look up that information. Or another one is, if it's like all doom and gloom, and it's like, well, how do you approach sessions and how do you kind of deal with these sorts of things? Because I know I know people that are like, oh, they would have Googled you beforehand and found out all these details about you, and I'm like, I don't think that meant those details are on Google, but anyway. And like, do you ever get?
Also, I'm way too lazy for that. No, I'm not doing it. You know, I didn't even make it to this meeting on time because I forgot to look it up. So, you know, there's no hope in hell that with me. I totally understand. And look, skeptics absolutely fucking love them. And I think it's really healthy to have a dose of skepticism, but also give it a go. You don't know what you're missing out on unless you give it a go. But the ones that say, oh, they would have looked it up or they could have seen that on Google and Facebook and stuff, genuinely, I don't have the inclination all the time to do that shit. And it's not like, for me, when I'm connecting with someone, because all my sessions are online now. So when I'm connecting with someone, it literally feels like just tuning into their frequency, their energy. It's like tuning into a radio channel. So I'm not going to be, you know, picking up jazz music if I'm tuning into a rock and roll station. You know what I mean? Like it just goes the way it goes. And I really think that every one of us that does this does it differently. So for me, when I first have a session with someone, I often say at the beginning, I'll ask you more questions than you ask me, because I want to know, like, where do you live and what do you do and what work do you do and are you married or blah, blah, blah. Other people that do what I do come in and go, don't tell me a thing, and just download. So I don't ask those questions for the purpose of finding out all your stuff and then making up stuff. I ask that so I can really get in the groove of your life and go, oh, okay, now this bit that's coming in makes sense, and this connects to that child, and this is about your career, because you just told me that you're a baker, but oh God, no, I can see you in 2 years being a nurse. You need to start studying, or you know what I mean? Like I can I see what feels right and aligned and what doesn't with whatever it is that you say. So, and then once I ask a couple of questions, vroom, I'm away. I talk very fast and there's a lot of information that comes out. But again, that's how it works for me. If you could see someone else and it's not like that. I do also, I have had sessions with a lot of people too who have come to me after they've been to a psychic who has said fucking random bullshit things like, someone close to you is going to die. Like, is that fucking helpful? No. And is it true? Usually not. But I tend to be more specific with information, and there's, and untangling that energetic fuckery really is my jam. So as much as it's a psychic session, I'm telling you what's coming up, there's also this beautiful connection in the background where I'm creating space, I guess you'd call it, for your energy to unwind and detox. And I'm sure if you speak to any of my clients, they just feel better afterwards. It's not just because, I know that, the car's going to be fine or whatever. They feel better because they just fucking feel better because I've, deactivated, like calmed their nervous system enormously, created space where they can actually start healing some of the heart stuff in their emotions. There's a whole lot of different ways that energy work is really, really helpful that people don't see if they haven't tried it. So I don't know. I mean, I always suggest people take the recommendations of someone else for a psychic, because there are some weirdos out there. Fuck me. Even I've been to one. I went, oh, you're a fucking fish slapper. I don't want to be that one. But that's the thing.
Crossing you off the list.
Even I see psychics and other healers because, again, my stuff is so close to me, I often can't get the perspective I need. So, you can't do everything on your own, people. That's probably the underlying message. You cannot do everything yourself.
Yeah, that's very good point. And I love how you're like, we welcome skeptics here, because I think, if you're sitting there going, oh, no, like that's probably a red flag as well in some regards.
Yeah.
So have you ever kind of received any messages of doom and gloom? Like, I know you said that some people have been told, like if someone close to them is going to die. Like, have you ever had anything like that come up? And how do you even approach that?
Yeah, I have. Only, look, I did have an instance very early on, and this is the other thing people don't even think about either, but you can actually set ground rules with what information you get. So I remember very early on in my career, a lady came to me and I could see there was going to be something that was going to go wrong with her leg, and I couldn't, but they told me that, and they said, but you can't tell her. And I kind of went, fuck that. I'm letting her know. And I literally could not speak the words. I just could not speak. I couldn't speak the words anyway. She left, and I actually, to be honest, I don't know whatever happened with her. So I can't quantify it, but I fucking had words with them that day and went, don't ever do that to me again. Don't you ever put me in a position where you tell me something for someone else and I can't tell them. That is not on. I am not up for that. So, so then when it comes to things that are negative or what's perceived negative, like people sometimes come to me when someone they love is near the end of their life anyway and go, like, they kind of want a bit of a timeline, which sounds cold, but it's not. Like, it's a little bit more like, well, how do we plan our way forward with this, and what do we need to put in place in what timeline? And honestly, I don't always get an exact timeline with people with that sort of situation, but I can get, like, it could be perceived as negative to say, it's going to be drawn out, or it's going to be quick and you've got to be ready or whatever. But I don't know. I give the information as it comes. Every reading is so different. Even someone that has readings regularly with me will still have a very different reading from one to the next with because they being angels, guides, whatever you believe in, they know what they've told you last time. Sometimes they'll reiterate stuff for me and I'll forget. I have no memory of what I told you last time. But they'll reiterate it. And then the person goes, oh, you told me that last time. And I go, right, that's a very valid and important point then, because if they've told me again, you need to listen. But other times it's like you're speaking to two entirely different humans, the way the information comes through. So it's very different.
That's interesting. Yeah, because I know one of my sisters, I know she's, as we said, she's a frequent flyer. And so, it's quite interesting that, I suppose, what was the other thing that, I know she says it before, like you got your freedom of will, like whether you actually choose to kind of go and follow this, like what you've been told.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That freedom of choice is the most important thing. So often what I tell people, what is available to them, it is literally available. You're at the fucking buffet of life. If you choose to reach out and and pick up the salmon and put it on your plate, that's yours. But if you're standing at the buffet and going, oh no, I'm not picking up the tongs, I'm not moving, I'm staying exactly where I am, I'm going, well, the salmon's there. what are you going to do about it? Like,
Mm.
you're not going to eat it if you don't reach out and take the action. So the action steps are really, really important. But I completely understand people that come to me wanting to know what the action steps are, because we are so busy and we're so overwhelmed by so many things all the time, and we're feeling so torn in so many directions, and it's very hard to go, right, what's next for me? Because particularly as women and particularly as mums, we don't look at what we want hardly very often at all. And when we do, it's like, oh fuck, I'm overwhelmed by the choices, or I'm underwhelmed by the options.
Yeah, true. That's a very good point. Yeah, and I think like you said, it's always that freedom of choice, which is so important. And that's the case again with anything in life, isn't it? We always have that choice as to whether we're going to
but
do
it's the
something.
confidence to do anything with it. That's what I love, making a difference with people, giving them the confidence to go, nah, that is going to work. That's a bloody great idea, or going, well, it could work, but you're going to have to put this, this, and that in place. So, because I speak to business leaders, I speak to parents, I speak to expectant parents, like, but it really doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. It's kind of, I guess what I've taken from doing this work for so long is that it's kind of comforting that everyone's confused about stuff, not just you.
We're all wondering if we're doing the right thing.
That's exactly true. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is. Yeah. That's so true. Oh, awesome. So I guess for you as well, like you obviously do a lot of energy work. You do a lot of, you get lots of downloads and that. How do you protect your energy amongst all of this? Like, do you have anything in particular that you do to kind of put your energetic boundaries in place, or is it, how do you approach that side of it as well?
Yeah, I do. So I certainly, and I think people think a psychic medium, like she knows all the answers. No, I fucking don't. Like, I get really pissed off at myself just as much as everybody else does, because I forgot this, or I didn't do that, or I should have actioned that yesterday and I bloody didn't, and it's going to bite me in the ass. But looking after my energy, I suppose there is an element of me needing to be kind to myself, which has been a struggle. Like, I was so low in self-confidence and self-worth for so, so long, that was a battle. That was a real battle. But now I find that, I mean, it could be the result of working with so many people and realizing that we're all as vulnerable as each other, and just that, I don't know, that kindness that is so easy to show to each other, it makes such a fucking difference. So that's one of the things I do, is I kind of strive for kindness, which again probably sounds a bit weird and woo-woo and wanky, but when you're sharing good energy, you're getting it back. And people talk about protection and think about, I put up magic mirrors and blah, blah, blah around me, and I hide from the bad energy and blah, but I'm an empath, and I bet a lot of your listeners are as well. So empaths are obviously people that just pick up on other people's feelings and emotions. So, but you kind of need that still. You can't, if you're blocking out negative energy, you're blocking out all energy, and you kind of need to feel where people are at. So what I found worked for me is that if I am going into a situation where I go, oh, this is going to be tricky, and usually it's a bloody family event, you know what that's like. Well, you probably don't, but I do.
I'm sure quite a few people do, yes.
Yes, and quite a few people do, or colleagues that, are going to be prickly, or, a situation is going to be rough. I get very deliberate about breathing inside of me, breathing so I'm not just feeling the air coming into my lungs. I'm kind of being, aware of the energy that comes in. So energy is all around us everywhere. We're made of it. Look up the science, it's a thing. And just almost choosing for that energy to stay in you. So you're breathing in beautiful, bright light. It brings in energy. It expands you internally, and you breathe out all the bullshit. You do that a few times and you suddenly go, oh, I actually do feel a bit brighter and lighter on the inside. And then it doesn't matter what shit someone else throws at you, that ain't sticking. But you can still feel and get an indication intuitively where the conversation's going to go, how to present yourself or hold yourself or whatever. But you're not taking on other people's bullshit. You're aware of it, no doubt about it, but you're not actually walking away going, oh, God, they made that about me and I feel terrible and I'm a bad person. You're just going, okay, I handled that pretty well and now I'm on my way.
Yeah. Oh, and that's really good because, yeah, I know I have a few different things that I've dabbled in there. Like, you've got to do the energetic force field around you and all
Mm.
this sort of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it's quite interesting that you say that in terms of being an empath as well, because I know, I think as women in general, we're pretty good at picking up on other people's emotions, no matter what they are and their vibes and all the rest of it. I just find women just seem to be better at reading those things. Not
Yeah,
saying
we
that men aren't
are.
either, but yeah, maybe it's just that, I don't know, maternal side, who knows? So it's interesting that you say that where you're not necessarily, yeah, rejecting that and blocking it. It's, yeah, just I like what you said there in terms of the kind of, yeah, the breathing in
Yeah.
the good stuff. That's nice.
Yeah. Because I just found, I don't know, like in my head, and I'm a very, very visual person, but I do feel like if you put a boundary, the protection around you, it's like cutting off your oxygen. You can breathe
Mm,
for so long and then it's gone. And same with the energy, like it'll protect you for a certain amount of time, but then it's gone. You've got to do it again. Like, why not use the energy that you've put into creating the boundary, put it internally? So, and you will
mm.
start to find that your personal boundaries get better as well, where you're not saying yes as often when really you mean no.
Yeah. Yeah, isn't that a big one?
Yeah, wouldn't that be great?
I know. So, in terms of your family, how do they handle, like, how have they been with this side of you? And
They totally take the piss out of me all the time.
oh, I love
So
that.
my husband's an electrician and has absolutely no idea what I do. He's got no clue, except that once I created the Oracle card decks
Yeah.
and they went well, he was able to go, oh, she makes cards. Like it was a physical thing he could see. But when I said to him, because he's your standard electrician, I'm sure they toddle off to electrician school and have all their emotions removed and then they're set out as apprentices. Um, but yeah, so he still has no clue except that I make people feel better. That's it. That I make people feel better, and I've got oracle cards. That's it. That's all he understands. My
Okay, cool.
kids, my kids had this running joke with their mates that I was a drug dealer because they could not understand how I made money doing what I do.
It's like, what
Because
is
I would
it?
smudge the room all the time. They were going, "God, it stinks in here, Mum."
Yeah.
Just I kind of assumed I was in a meth lab of some sort or something. I
Oh
don't
my
know. So,
God.
yeah,
That's
but they
hilarious.
don't. They're not particularly on board with it. They don't. It's not like they actively oppose me doing what I'm doing, but they're certainly not full on encouraging or none of that. They every now and then my husband would come. He used to work away a lot, and
Yeah.
every now and then he would come home and go, oh, I spoke to someone else's mate and his wife uses oracle cards too. It was like
Yeah, he was probably trying to explain what you do, and he's like, oh, that was the
it'd
best
be
one.
some weird bonding moment between two tradies in the outback somewhere, but it was cool.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, and yeah, I suppose, does anyone else in your family kind of show signs that they've got this intuitive side of them coming through, or is it something
Not
that's
really. My
very
sister
unique
a
to you?
little bit. My sister a little bit, but not really anyone else. And one of my cousins a bit. But all of us, like it really is a self growth thing. Like I
Mm,
genuinely believe that we are all capable of this.
yeah.
I'm just someone that followed it too far down that line. You know what I mean? Like but I think that the overall kind of or underlying importance is that it helps people. Like that's always
Mm,
been my jam my entire life. Even when I was really, really little, I always wanted to help people. Like I was the kid selling raffle tickets at the footy when I was 4, following whoever was had it. So I'd hold on to a bucket or I'd hold on to the tickets or,
yeah.
and then I'd work in the canteen and then the school was selling flowers at the Cuckoo in Olinda at the time. And, I'd go and do that. And if there was ever a way to help people, I'd do it. And
Mm,
this I just find makes such a profound difference for the lives of the people I work with directly and the people around them. Because when
mm,
someone in a family unit is feeling better, the flow and effects are fucking magnificent. So it's
yeah.
really nice to get, I don't know, it's probably a bit of an ego boost, I suppose, the positive feedback that I get, but more it's about knowing that I've helped people feel better in a significant way. And whether they come back and see me again or not, they'll take that with them. And that's bloody brilliant. It's kind of, I don't know, I see it a little bit as my legacy, I suppose.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And I know, like obviously having had readings with you and all the rest of it, like it's like I said, they're very accurate, and it has been so helpful for me and just helping, guide my children and things that I'm doing in my own life as well. So, yeah, it definitely is a extremely helpful thing what you
Yeah,
were
and that's
doing.
the thing. I kind of feel sad for the people that haven't tried it because
Yeah.
like you don't know how helpful it is until you give it a go, because you can't, I guess probably people like to book in for things and go, I know what the outcome's going to be, but this is an absolute fucking mystery for you and me. So
Yeah.
it's very hard.
We just sit down and what comes through comes through.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So, but it's always, oh, there's always a laugh in there. And that's the thing. I think people expect the mystical, deep, blah, dramatic bullshit, but you just don't get that with me. And again, it's because everybody does it differently. You might go to someone who is that and completely fucking fabulous.
Yeah.
Or you come to me and have a laugh and go away feeling better. Like it's not that you won't feel better from the other one as well, but there's just different vibes for different folks, I suppose.
Yeah, that's so good. And do you have like any really funny stories or anything that you're able to share? Like, has there anything kind of come through that you're like, oh my gosh?
My thought is I have heaps, but I'm so forgetful. I guess
it's okay. I've put you on the spot, so it's okay.
Yeah, no, that's all right. No, I did have there's one guy jumping into my head at the moment who ended up being a regular client, but he was in the emergency services, so those people are so serious. Like they've seen shit, right? Anyway, he came to me because his wife made him, basically, and so it was back when I was seeing people in person. So he's sitting in the chair in my healing room, just with his arms crossed and his legs crossed, and just staring at me, going, yeah, clearly not into it. And then I happened to pick up on a friend of his who had come in and was because this guy, like, because obviously the mental load on anyone in emergency services is enormous, and so they were kind of looking for something that could possibly help him with that. So his mate, who had passed, popped in and said and dropped in. It wasn't a name. It dropped in a letter that went, I said, it looks like this animal. Like someone's just come in and just said this letter. And then it looks like an animal and they're pointing at you, but they're pointing, like they're very specifically pointing at one side of his body or the other. I can't remember now.
Yeah.
And his jaw hit the floor and he goes, that's my mate that died 5 years ago. And I've got a tattoo with his name on it. And the letter was embellished and it's had this animal situation on his go, and this guy had a long sleeve shirt on, so I couldn't see it. I didn't know. I'd never discussed it with his wife. And it was just because the first thing he did when he got home apparently was say, did you tell Lyndy about whatever his name was?
Yeah.
And she was like, no, like why would that come up in my reading?
Random. And so that probably would have been
on, he was on board, and then he was able. But the good thing was, like, the mate popping through, it meant that then he was able to receive the other information that I had. And that was the important factor. It wasn't the mate was going, oh, look at me, I'm here. It was more like, fucking sit down, shut up, and listen, because she's got something to say. And it's not about me having something to say. It's about me connecting you with your energy so that you can feel better. And feeling better is not some fucking frivolous outcome. It's really important. There's so many people need it.
I know, and it's amazing how many people are not choosing to kind of do that as well. I think that's, so if they come and do things like this, it's great, because if that means that they can walk away feeling better and, having a bit more knowledge about perhaps where they're going, I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for a lot of people too, they've been under the pump for so long from so many different aspects of life, they don't know where to start with untangling it or feeling better. And often that's enough. Like, I get people... And I'm all for, counselling, psychology, psychiatry, all of that, the Medicaid, all of it. I'm up for all of it. If someone needs it, they need it. Yeah. But I'm surprised at how often I see people who go, I can't connect with that. They ask me questions and some people just, when they're asked questions, they shut down. Whereas when they see someone like me, I can tell them stuff and they're like, oh, they're suddenly more open and going, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I understand that. And it just lets them feel more, I guess, safe. Maybe they're not feeling as much vulnerability as going, right, tell me about your stuff. Tell me about this. Tell me about that. Because they've learned to shut that shit down for safety reasons, for their own heart space or to protect their mental health. Yeah. But having someone else come in and talk about it seems to work just a little bit better for some people. Not all people, but some people.
Yeah, and what an interesting way to look at it as well, because, I suppose, once you kind of got those barriers up, it can be very hard to bring them down. So if you can kind of, you're almost bypassing that in a way, aren't you? I mean, like, well, actually, like...
Yeah, absolutely. It's just coming at it from a different angle, that's all. That's why there's absolutely value in all those other things, the clever people stuff, I call it. But but sometimes just coming at things from a different perspective is what's required. And often with the way relationships are often amongst families, but can be work stuff too. Like when you're able to see things from someone else's perspective, God, it changes shit. It just makes life easier.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. I think, yeah, because as you said, like we get so caught up in what we're in our own lives and ourselves that we're so close to it sometimes that, yeah, just to kind of step back and be like, oh, yeah, I can see that from their point of view now. Like it does help with that clarity as well, doesn't it? So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. Oh, how interesting. I love this. These conversations. So what are the different things that you have at the moment to kind of, I know you obviously got your oracle cards and your husband is
Yeah.
quite good at promoting
He's just the guy that lifts the heavy boxes. Yep.
Yeah. So what are your other offerings that you have for people if people are like, okay, well, this is kind of piqued my interest. Where can I go from here?
Yeah, so online I've got sessions available, one-on-one sessions, varying times and prices. So they're on my website. I've also got courses and classes. Some are they're there and you buy them and you can start them straight away. There's an oracle card course and a fresh start course, it's almost like an energy reset thing, I suppose. That's on my website. But I also from time to time run in-person events and that sort of thing as well. And then online occasionally I'll do like mini readings or like on Facebook and Instagram and stuff. So definitely worth following me on their socials, because there's lots of stuff comes through. And every weekday morning, Melbourne time, I do I draw an oracle card and just kind of give you the vibe of the day, see what's going on.
Cool. Yeah, so that's obviously on your socials that you do
Yeah.
that. Oh, how awesome. I love that. So everyone can be like, okay, this is what the day's got.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, that resonates for me today, that one. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. And just before we finish, I'm just conscious of time. So if you were to leave the listeners just with one piece of advice, what would that be? Just to put you on the spot a little bit.
Yeah, that's all right. It would be, give yourself a break. Like the intensity that you are feeling internally is mostly coming from you. So calm the fuck down, take a beautiful, big, deep breath in. And when you breathe out, deliberately feel your muscles relax, and just that slight little bit of tension release. You'll suddenly go, oh, Jesus, I was holding a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just unnecessary. Like if it can shift even just a little bit with that one breath, imagine what you can do if you have an energy session where things can really transform and change. Like so many people come back to me and say, God, I slept better and I'm thinking clearer and all of those things. But you can start those little changes yourself, and you are definitely worth looking after and being kind to.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much, Lyndy. And I'll make sure I add in all your contact details as well. But do you, what's your website for those that are listening if they want to check you out straight away?
Yeah, thank you. It's Lyndy Jewell, spelled LYNDYJEWELL.com.au.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today, Lyndy. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me. I've had a great time.
Hey.
Thank you so much for tuning into the Mindful Educator podcast. I would love it if you could help get the word out, either by leaving a review, sharing on your socials, or telling your friends, or even all three. If you would like to get in contact, head to my Instagram at the.victoria.r or my Facebook, Victoria R. My DMs are always open. Thanks again for listening, and I'll speak to you again soon.